Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. And you join me here today on what's been an absolutely beautiful sort of late morning, early afternoon that I've been up here. Really quite warm, 25, 26 degrees today, and been quite sort of hot, hard work. Sort of just digging over this bed behind me and weeding it, ready for some things which I'm going to be bringing up sort of later in the week. But I've also managed to pick a few things, and this time of the year is all about well, broad beans, which are just here to my right, but they're going strong. But it's all about the sort of soft fruits right now, and we've really got a quite sort of a nice crop of strawberries there, which I've picked from the sort of little plot that we've got at the front there. They're smelling wonderful. Hot strawberries in the sunshine. It's hard to beat that. And also quite a good harvest of these white currants. These are a little bit quirky. They always appear just before the red currants and the black currants. So yeah, very much looking forward to those. A lovely mix of quite tangy sort of sharpness with a little bit of sweetness. So yeah, very nice those, particularly with some yogurt and whatever. But while that's all very interesting, you didn't tune in to hear about the weather conditions or what I've picked, or maybe some of you did, I don't know, it's your choice. Of course you tuned in to hear about the Allotment Dram, and what is it today, I hear you ask? Well, it's from a distillery that we like very much, and it is the Benromach, 21 years old, and yeah, a real treat to be given a bottle of this. Very lucky we are sometimes in what we do in our jobs in the whiskey industry. But what can I tell you about Benromach? Pretty small distillery in terms of, it's right up there just on the edge of the town of Forres in Speyside, so the northern part of Speyside, so it's not far from the coast actually, and very small, very traditional distillery. Everything is still done by hand there, so there's not really any machinery other than instruments to tell sort of temperature and things. So it's not like a lot of modern distilleries where everything can be controlled by the push of a button. You still need the skill of the people working there. So yeah, very nice place, probably the best place that I've been that shows you how whiskey is made all in one room, because everything's in one room. You've got the mashing, you've got the fermentation washbacks, and you've got the stills on the other side. So really nice, sort of down to earth place, and we like places like that. But what can I tell you about Benromach? On top of that, it's founded in 1898. It was one of these sort of big swathes of new distilleries that appeared in the late Victorian era, particularly in Speyside, and it was sort of there ticking away, and then in 1983 it actually closed and was mothballed. So mothballed means that all the equipment was there ready to be turned on again, but there's just no production. So it sat there for 10 years until 1993, when the independent bottlers Gordon and MacPhail, who are based just down the road in the sort of next town of Elgin, they took over the distillery. It took 5 years to renovate it, and production restarted in 1998. So now it's producing about 700,000 litres a year, so quite small in whiskey. I mean, that sounds a lot, but the average sort of in Scotland and particularly in Speyside is about 3.5 to 4 million litres. So 700,000 litres is still quite small on that perspective. And they kind of make the whiskey, as I said, in this very sort of hands-on traditional way, but they also make it in a style which is quite old school as well. It's a slight sort of peaty quality, using peat from the local area, sort of around Speyside in the Highlands, as most people would have done like back in the day when the distillery started in this sort of late Victorian, sort of early 20th century sort of era. So yeah, very lucky. This is the 21-year-old. It's part of the core range. It sort of sits at the top of the core range, and is 43%. So I think without further ado we should really have a taste of it. So it's not really the day for whiskey, but you know, something like this is really good any day, I would say. Just pop that down, pop the lid back on. You always pop the lid back on. You only ever knock a bottle of whiskey over once, and don't put the lid back on after that. So let's have a smell and a taste. Yeah, you've got it's a mix of bourbon and sherry casks here, as a lot of whiskies are, but these are all first fill. So what that means is it's the first time that Scotch whiskey's been put into the barrel. So once the bourbon's been emptied, or once the sherry's been emptied, the next thing in it is Scotch whiskey. So you get sort of very expressive notes when that happens. So yeah, we've got some vanilla, there's golden syrup, there's some chocolate in there as well. You've got some of the dried fruits that you might expect. It's quite nutty as well, quite nutty actually. But then there's this underlying smoke, and if you think about this, if it started production in 1998, this liquid was made very soon after it restarted, so it's got to be 2000 or 2001 at the latest if you think about it. Then plus 21 years and we're here today. So yeah, very, very enticing. Let's have a taste. So it's actually surprisingly lively. Sometimes old whiskies can be a little bit flat or a little bit dead, or a little bit woody, and they've been in the cask too long, but this has a vibrancy, quite juicy sultanas and raisins, and a bit of like a twist of sort of orange peel as well, right there at the front. Then we've got a lovely sort of earthy, malty quality. Someone's just started hammering over the other side of the allotment, but we'll power through and hopefully it doesn't disturb you too much. That's the beauty of sitting here. You get all the sounds, so you get the birds and you get, you know, sort of planes going over, but you also get the other sounds of other human beings. But where was I? Yeah, this sort of malty, earthy quality, and then there's this sort of savoury smoke kind of wrapping around everything. There's quite a lot of golden syrup as well. Let's have another taste. So elegant and classy, quite luxurious feel, mouth feels slightly oily, rich, silky, but those savoury notes really coming through now, on top of this sort of dried fruit, golden syrup, citrus peel. Yeah, so some vanilla, but this sort of underlying, it's almost like a sweet smoke. It's not like an Islay smoke at all. It's like a sweet, gentle smoke. Just in the background, a hint of like sort of leathery or sort of tobacco leaf. You know, when there's sort of dried tobacco leaf that they put around the outside of a cigar. Yeah, absolutely delicious. What a treat. You know, we were delighted when we received a bottle of this. You know, it's not every day you get this. Is about 140, 150 pounds, I think, off the top of my head. I have to check that actually sort of afterwards, but so apologies if that's wrong, but that's about what I've got in my head. But yeah, very, very nice and well worth it. And also, you know, if you it's not big smoke, so if you like smoky whiskies you might be disappointed, but you know, if you like your Speyside whiskies that have this softness, fruitiness, but you just want something that's got a little twist, something a little bit different, then you know, certainly try, you know, you don't have to go straight in for the 21, although this is a delightful whiskey, sublime. You know, the core range is very good. You know, the 10-year-old is an absolute classic. You know, one of the first whiskies that really got us interested in whiskies. In fact, I think it won Whisky for Everyone's like first ever Whisky of the Year, so back in like 2009 or 2010. You know, so yeah, it's been a favourite of ours for a very long time. But I think we'll leave it at that. You know, from myself and the Benromach 21, we will bid you farewell. We'll let you get on with whatever you were doing before you sort of tripped across this video, and we hope to see you again very soon for another Allotment Dram. Cheers!